So here's the structure of heart, which is really very important for the NEET exam. The very first thing is that the heart, the human heart, that the mammal's heart or the bird heart or the crocodile heart is myogenic in nature. Myogenic means that it is controlled by the muscles action, not the nerves action, right? So it is generally in the mammals, in the higher vertebrates, while in the lower vertebrates or invertebrates, there is like neurogenic heart. Okay, the heart is derived from the mesoderm. Done. Now these are the characteristics of the heart which comes into the exam and is really very important. That, like, the very first point says that it is located in the thoracic cavity. We all know it is located in the thoracic cavity, that is the chest wala cavity. Then in between the two lungs, right in between the left and right lungs, we all know that. But it's not exactly shifted to left, but it is slightly tilted to left side. Okay, that too from the ventricular region. Now what about the size? So we all have seen that the size of the heart is like this much, like clenched fist. So this much is my heart size, right? It's like that. Now the double-walled membranous bag called pericardium is present. Heart is single membranous, double membranous. Here's the question comes, right? So you'll take it on pericardium, that is the double membranous, right? Now they can ask you that what is the outer and the inner membrane called. So very simple, parietal is always referred to the periphery thing. So parietal pericardium is the outer side and the inner one is visceral because it's inside. So visceral is always something which is inside present, right? So inner one is visceral pericardium while the outer one is parietal pericardium. Another thing to notice here is that between the two walls there's always a fluid, like in the lungs also there's fluid, right? So here also there's a fluid, so that it cannot cause something, damage to our heart due to friction. So to reduce the friction, pericardial fluid is present. One more thing, that the very important function of the pericardium is that it protects the heart from shock and mechanical injuries, as it is two-layered. Hence it is responsible to protect the heart from shock and mechanical injuries. Like if you had an accident, like very bad accident, still your heart is working, it means that the pericardium saved you that day. Okay, so thank your pericardium for every accident. Okay, now ventricle walls, arterial walls. As we know, there are two ventricles and two atriums. So two arterial walls are the thin one because they don't have any pumping action, right? While the ventricle walls are the thick one because they do have that pumping action. They'll just pump it like this, so they need to be very strong from the inside, right? So the walls are thick. Now the interarterial septum, what is it? Like, we will study like 3 of them, which is very important. First one is interarterial septum, which means that between the arteria, like you can see, inter means between, arterial means atrium, septum means the line which divides, right? We all have seen. So between the two atria. When it's interventricular septum, then it is between the two ventricles. When it is arterioventricular septum, then it's very obvious that between the artery and the ventricle. Okay, now we'll see these all in this diagram, but first of all we'll study it all and then we'll see it all together. Now you need to know that in the AV node, like you have heard what is AV node, right? But you don't know the meaning of it. Like, so it is obviously like it's arterioventricular septum, very easy to understand and remember. Now AV valve in right side, AV valve in left side, present on both the side, left and right side. Now when it is present on the right side, then it is of 3